Hello and welcome back. We are back once again, continuing where we left off on Saturday. So, Saturday, we started a new series of super creator kits by Rolife, and we finished our first one, which is lovely little, this lovely little golden wheat bakery kit. It was a bunch of fun. Took us a little bit longer than expected. We ran into a couple of little choices, but let me see here. I'll do in what way? Filter sounds a little grainy. Is it specifically my microphone or is it my Spotify? What about now? Hmm. I'm wondering what that could be. Is it bitrate? Bitrate seems fine as far as I can tell. Interesting. Let me try something really quick. Part of me kind of doubts it's going to be any better, but you never know. Yeah, give me a second. Let me do this really quick. So what about now? I'm not sure. Part of me thought it might be because I have all these fans going on right now. Hmm. It might be something, unless it gets like really bad, it might be just something we kind of live with for right now. Yeah, I mean, bitrate's fine. Like, I'm sitting at like 5,600 kilobits for bitrate. Problem is if I turn the filter for noise suppression off, I guarantee you guys are going to start hearing my fans. It could be. It could also be that, yeah. Wonder if this is any better. I think it is a little bit, but I might be wrong. I turned the compressor off, so I have noise suppression, the compressor, and the limiter on. So it might be that. But honestly, the compressor isn't like necessary. It's mostly the noise suppression that I need. So I think we'll just keep an eye on it. Yeah. I think we'll just keep an eye on it for now. If it gets worse, then that's fair, and I appreciate that. especially considering I usually don't have like any kind of monitoring turned on. So if there's any kind of audio issues, I don't really know unless people tell me. But either way, so yeah, Saturday we completed our Golden Wheat Bakery kit. Bunch of fun. Had some very nice little details, some of which just decided to fall out just now, but we'll fix that here in a second. But very fun little kit, very nice. Fun little story. I actually ended up having to do some. Whoa, what is that? That was interesting. Um, Seems to be the one stream that I'm having a bunch of problems for whatever reason. Um, Either way. So, fun little story about this kit. I actually ended up having to do a little bit of emergency surgery on it over the weekend. So, on the back of these kits, you can see that there's this little power box right here. And what ended up happening was in the process of me taking that box off to check some things and then putting it back on, I ended up accidentally snapping one of the wires to specifically this little billboard light right here because it had fallen in front of the hole where the box likes to snap in. And in my hubris of like, well, why isn't this fitting properly? I sort of forced it and snapped that wire. But luckily, it wasn't a huge fix. I was able to solder it back together, threw some electrical tape on it, and we are back to normal. So everything's still working as it should. We still have our little oven light, and we still do have our little marquee light right here. Or not marquee, this little billboard light. And so we have our kit. Today, we actually have two different kits that we might build from. I think we're still going to go with our original plan and do the one that we had intended to do on Saturday. But we do actually have two kits to build from or to choose from this time. So our little neighborhood will actually be 3 buildings instead of just 2. So what I'll go ahead and do super briefly is let me introduce you guys to the kit that we had looked at on Saturday. So Saturday, we looked at this one, which is the Fascinating Bookstore by Rolife. This one is, obviously, it's more of like a retail space instead of like a restaurant. This one also has a couple of different places that light up. I believe that little bookstore light or sign right there lights up. I believe that's the only thing that lights up though, which is fine. And with this being our second kit, what we can end up doing is this will end up going on top of the bakery. And going on top of the bakery, that means that the floor of this build or the floor of this becomes the ceiling of the other, and we can actually install a ceiling light for our bakery. I do also have one other kit. Let me see if I'm going to find it really quickly. I did end up getting one other kit the other day. Let me see if I can find it. I ended up getting this. It's a little bubble tea shop. So this one will be a little bit fun too. In this particular one, it's the menu back here that lights up, which will be super fun. But yeah, I ended up getting a pretty decent little discount on this one, so that's the reason I got this one. I originally only intended to have 2 of them at the time, but you know, with them being modular and with them being kits that you put together, I figured why not. So yeah, we have 2 different kits to build from. I think we are going to go ahead and do this one just because A, it's open, and B, my intention was to originally put this on top of the bakery. So we'll get started with this one. Now that I think most of our audio issues are over, I'm going to go ahead and start the music again for us to have something nice to relaxing to. Awesome. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a peek at what we got. So same as before, it's a bunch of different little bags full of plastic parts instead of the sprues. The difference with this one being is that obviously, so these are going to be a lot of the books that we're probably going to end up putting labels and covers on, which is pretty neat. At least they're not having to make us, completely make these from scratch. Got some more of the furniture and the bookshelves. We have, this looks like our walls, as well as some stickers and decals. They've got some vinyl records and a bunch of those adhesive dots that they really like to use. This piece is actually pretty important. So with the bakery, I'll show you super quickly. So if you only have one kit, you can basically just leave it like this and just display it as is. But if you want to have a roof on top of one, or if you want to connect more kits vertically, you actually need this little piece, because this little white piece is the support that goes right there in the corner to support whatever ends up on top of it. So we have one from the previous kit, and so we have another one with this one. Let's see here. This is going to be our floor and our walls. We have another USB-C cable to daisy chain the power bricks, which we have one already, so that'll be a second one. We have our paper decals, so these will probably be a lot for like wall decorations and maybe for book covers. And then obviously our instructions, as well as yet another pair of tweezers. I think at this point I have, I was digging around through my parts drawer, my tools drawer, and I'm fairly sure I have like 8 or 9 pairs of these little plastic tweezers now. But I digress. So we've got our instructions, we've got our kit. I'm going to go ahead and put back some of these so we can kind of keep ourselves a little organized here, at least until we need them. Cool. Go ahead and get our bakery out of the way. We'll need it later, but not just yet. So this one actually starts a little different in the fact that they want us to go ahead and start assembling the actual building itself first. In the previous kit, they had us building like the oven first and a little bit of the furniture first, but this one they actually want us to go ahead and start. We'll have to actually go ahead and start putting the building itself together. Okay. In these instances where they want us to use adhesive dots, I'm actually going to go ahead and use the ones from the other kit first, just so that way we don't run out of them. I think, actually, I did end up finding my refills for my adhesive tape runner. I think when we did the bakery kit, I went ahead and did this because with it being tape instead of it being just a little glue dot, I was able to more securely put it down. I believe this kit has us using the tile side. Let me double check. Yeah, we're using the flat tile side, and it's all symmetrical, so it doesn't matter. Okay. That. So you guys can see better, but I do like the fact that they want us to go ahead and get this light in here too. That way we can go ahead and get that out of the way. Question is, where is the light? Here you are. Let's see you. Go ahead and get all that out. Right. There's really a lot of stickers in this one. Not necessarily complaining about my goodness though. I do. Probably the closest I'm gonna get to that. But yeah, so this is gonna be like our soul of light. Just this little fascinating bookstore sign. So they want us to go ahead and I'm actually going to take a small note out of my previous attempts with this. So I mentioned how I had to do emergency surgery on my other kit. So what I think I'm actually going to do here is something sort of similar to what I did with the last kit. So to give some details, what ended up happening was this little cable here actually fell in front of one of these holes right here where it's supposed to snap into the piece, and that's what ended up causing the issue. So I think to fix that and to help prevent it, I'm going to take a little bit of electrical tape, and I'm going to just find a little bit of the slack here. A little bit of slack right here. Just gently tape it, but I need to do it flat so that way this can still, you know. Yeah, like that. So that way it's flat, it takes up some of the slack, and it also keeps it out of the way. So when I do snap this back on down here, I can take this and just snap it in place without having to worry. So that way we are good to go. Cool. Now obviously we'll have to take this back off to put the lamp on it, but that's okay. Same thing with this piece right here, which is kind of it's like the crossbar that goes on top of here. I'll also have to take this off here in a second because we actually have a roof piece that we're going to be putting on here. And so we remove this little top crossbar to put that roof piece on once we get to it. Okay. So we need cardboard now. I think it's really cute that they gave us like these little like translucent records, and one of them they're just like, you know what, you're just gonna put it in this little you're just gonna put it in this little sleeve cover, and you're just never gonna see it again. But you know what? It gives it some sturdiness, so that way you have yourself something that's a little bit more rigid than just like a piece of paper. But they do have other vinyl records here that you are gonna actually like display on the shelf here in a second, and they're just made out of this like translucent. It's this like translucent plastic. It's very interesting to say the least. But either way, so we're gonna take that. This is our shelf. It looks like they want us to put some dots here. Yeah, just like that. So we have ourselves a little shelf with a record on it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get these two records on here, and then we have a quick break scheduled. Alright, I'm gonna ready to get this last one on here. We're gonna take a quick 90-second break. I'll see you guys here in a little bit. I'm gonna get me a quick drink. Alright, welcome back. So we're gonna continue with, it looks like we're gonna continue with these shelves here. So that top shelf had a couple of vinyl records. It looks like this bottom shelf is going to actually have our books on it. So let's see if we can do this the way they want us to. So they want us to take 5 of these books and sort of evenly spread them out on the shelf. So what I'm doing to kind of help myself evenly space them is I'm putting 3 of these dots on the outsides in the middle here first. Then I'm going to go back and put the 2 dots in between them so that way I can kind of evenly space them out. Okay. A little shelf of books. I believe they're probably going to have us put this actually on the wall now. Yep, looks like that's the case. So. Cool. Fun. So now, bookshelf together. I wonder if they're gonna have a picture of these little knobs like they did in the other kit too. There we go. Cool. Oh, here comes the fun part. So now we get to put the books together. Oh, goodness. Books galore. That's just one big sticker, but you know, like there's little indentations right here that we have to like squeeze the sticker into. Oh goodness. Okay. So let's see what's going on. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of books to put together here. This is absolutely going to be the part that's going to take up a majority of this build. Is just putting all these stickers on all these books. You gotta put labels on them somehow. Now that I've got a groove down, these aren't taking me as long. Yeah, we got to this pretty quickly. Cool. Got our bunch of collection of 3 books over here. So, A7. These are the books that are piles of 5 books or so. So those 4. I'm also like 80% sure one of these books is supposed to be a reference to COVID, which I find just a little bit funny. There's a book here I'll show you in a second, but there was a book here that I came across, and it was called The Year of the Masks, I think it is. The Years of Masks. There it is. And I was like, there's no way that's not a COVID reference. Like wearing a medical mask, the years of masks. Like that's gotta be a reference to COVID, which I find at least a little bit funny because that does definitely date when this kit was made. But also to be fair, I don't know how long Rolife has been making kits for, so now I've just got like these thousands of miniature individual books to do. The album books I think we'll leave there, but I'm actually gonna do this favor really quick. Let me, especially while I'm working on these specifically, I'm gonna zoom in quite a bit more so you guys can see. Oh, hang on. Glitched out there for a second. There we go. I love the little like details and fun little nods to things that they put in these kits. Like this is very obviously Abbey Road by the Beatles. Yet it's a book called Street Photograph. All right. Got a quick break coming up here in about a minute, so I'm gonna do this one last book, and then we'll take a quick stretch and beverage break. Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and take a quick break there. We got about 4 more books to do, so. All right. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back. So we got our last 4 books to do. I'm going to do these super quick. I was having a thought as I was putting these book covers on, and I looked at them and I was like, wait, am I actually putting these on in the right orientation? Because I read a lot of manga as well. And so for a split second, I was worried that I had put these on backwards as if like you were reading manga and the spine was on the right. But no, I've been doing these right. The spine's on the left, as they should be. All right, last book. My goodness. Well, it took us forever, but we have all of our books. Or massive, massive pile of books. So now we get to do the fun part of actually putting these in here. So let me grab. I'm going to go ahead and use the adhesive dots they want us to use for this part because of how small these are. I love listening to this playlist and then just like really enjoying the music and then all of a sudden getting blindsided by the Persona soundtrack. Not that I'm complaining, I love the Persona soundtrack, but let me clean up these little dots really quick. We got another quick break coming up, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick pause here before we continue. Well, we made some good progress so far. We've obviously got the walls set up. We've got a couple of the wall shelves put up. We've done pretty much all of the books. So at this point, all that's really left is just kind of getting together the rest of the small stuff. But yeah, we made some really great progress. I don't really see a ton left for us to do. I think the next part we're going to be doing is a little bit of a. They have some stationery, like some ink bottles and whatnot that we're going to be putting together. And then, yeah, from there, we should be getting pretty close to being done. So I'll see you guys in about 90 seconds. Welcome back. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be making a couple of little ink bottles. So, because these are a little bit smaller, let me go ahead and zoom in, give you guys a better look. Okay. So yeah, we have a couple of these little ink bottles here. They are really, really testing how well I can place these stickers. Wait, hang on. Oh, I see. Okay, so they gave us spare parts here in case we need them, but the actual stickers are on this sheet. How nice of them. They already knew that I was going to mess this up. Okay, got ourselves a little bottle of red ink. And then it should be 2 bottles of blue ink. All right. Here we go. Okay, not bad. Didn't screw that up as much as I thought I would. We're not doing anything else with the rest of it just yet. Apparently not. Mess this up just a little bit. You will die. Cool. Do. Nice. It's always fun watching bots or like mob bots ban spam bots. Let's switch over to these two. Cute. A little, it's like a little stationery cabinet. Very cute. Okay. I'm gonna grab my super glue really quick. Some of these parts I just know are gonna go flying if I don't super glue them. Set that so you guys can see. Yeah, I don't know how in the world they expected me to do that. They wanted me to like just use an adhesive dot and have that thing glue at an angle. And I was like, there's no way you're gonna, there's no way that's gonna happen. Just why I just decided to super glue it instead, but a couple more cards in the back of it just to keep it stable, but here. I'll let that dry. while we get everything else prepared. Cute. Let that sit there and dry. Okay. Getting close to the end here. We're on our last bag, so don't have a ton left to do. Got a quick break coming up here in just a moment. So the last thing we're going to do is super this here. This is just like a little sign that says Happy Reading Day. Since this is just cardboard, we can get it with just like the smallest of dots there for that. Yep, got ourselves a little easel stand with a sign. All right, I'll see you guys in 90 seconds. Let's take a quick break. All right, welcome back. So, next up we have a little typewriter it looks like we're putting together. So let's go ahead and assemble that. It's cute, little typewriter, adorable. All right. Ooh, this is gonna be tricky. Cute. So they made it a sticker that they wanted you to fold in half because the sticker doesn't completely cover the other half, so there's just a little tab for you to be able to stick it in place so you can keep it on that typewriter. It's like a little advertisement. Adorable. Actually, this might be the one time I do opt for these instead, only because I don't want it to be so insanely permanent in case I mess this up. Okay. Yeah, I think in that case using the adhesive dots was the right call. Okay, in this case they just want it to be stuck to the bottom, which is fine, we can use a dot for that. Easel goes over here. And I'm gonna super glue this because of how small it is. What is this music? Yeah. This will be probably the only time I'll ever do it, but we're skipping that. This is not much better. So I think with that, I think we have all of the furniture done, which means at this point, all we have to do is just assemble everything in the right places, and then we're done. Well, I say that, but I actually missed a couple of small pieces here and there. I need to go back and fix really quick. Mostly just signs and stuff. Okay, we have a couple of stickers too that I forgot to place, but those are the extras. All right, let's start placing these pieces down. I think first, put you down here in the corner. Cool. We are pretty much done. I'm gonna let that super glue dry for a little bit, but oh my gosh, we are finally done. And I say we're done, we're technically not done yet. Because we have one last thing we gotta do once the super glue is dry. Welcome back. So, we are technically not done yet, because as much fun as this kit was, and as wonderful as it looks, honestly, we are not done yet, because we have to attach it to the other kit. This is where the fun begins. So, how we're going to have to do this is, let me reset that so you can see everything. How we're going to have to do this is, I'm going to have to do two things. First things first, I'm going to have to take this off of our bakery. Also going to need also going to need you. Then what I also have to do is I need to remove the lighting box as well as the lighting box as well as the, what do you want to call them? The side panel. Because what I have to do now is I actually need to take this lamp. It's going to go into the bottom of this kit. Like so. You can't see it exactly, but they have actually given us a little wire trace or a wire run for us to run that wire, which is very nice. Then, now that we've run that wire, Hello. Here. Box. So, just more. In there. So we still have our bakery from before, except now it has the bookstore on top of it. And if I tilt it enough, you can see in the floor of the bookstore, we have a lamp now. So now we have 3 sources of light for our bakery. And then what I need to do next is we're going to take one of our fancy daisy chaining cables. And we're going to connect these two just like so. So they're connected now. So then what will happen is, do I have a USB-C cable? I do. Before we do anything else, because I'm really, really curious. Take ourselves a USB-C cable. Haha. So not only do we have the lights from the bakery, all 3 of them, which is kind of hard to see. Unfortunately, I'll have to move the camera. But you can also see right here on the bookstore, we also have the one light for it. Powered by one box. But as much fun as that is, we're still technically not done yet. So what we have to do now is we're going to put the roof on the bookstore on the top. So to do that, we take into this piece saw. And I didn't actually show it because it was in box, but this is the roof piece. So if you don't have a top for one of your buildings, you can basically put this little roof piece, and it does have a spot for your light. So our bookstore will have a light as well. Let's see if I can hook this wire in here. Just like that. And we have the wire traced. Perfect. So then All I have to do is take this box off. Take that off temporarily. Oh, right. I almost forgot. We do need to put this support here too. So the roof has like fourth corner support. Okay, now we're good. And we connect it to the box in the same way. So, just like that. So our bookstore has a little roof. So now I power the bottom box. Actually, I think it can technically power either of them. If I power, we'll say the top one actually, because I think the top one's a little bit more secure. So, move this up a little bit so you can see. I'll even tilt it back a little bit. Both of our stores have overhead lights as well as their own little accent lights. And they are combined. Fantastic. So yeah, fun little kit. And now that we have more than one, we can start actually expanding and building on them. So now all I have to do is I have to make sure I keep these parts safe somewhere. I think I have a good idea of where I'm going to keep them, but another successful little build and a really fun one at that. Despite the fact that we had like 1.5 million little stickers to put everywhere, but that's all part of the fun. I'm going to go ahead and put these pieces in here. But as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys have been having a wonderful Monday so far. Staying cool. We will have our regularly scheduled stream tomorrow. What we're going to be doing, it's a surprise. Because I haven't frankly figured it out myself yet. But we'll see. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Have a wonderful evening.